Ali, first off, when your youngest told you he didn't like you, what does that feel like for a mom who cares so much?
I mean, it kind of feels like it erases everything that you've ever done for your child, the good, the great, um, and it just kind of feels like a knife just piercing through your soul. It's very soul crushing, like I mentioned before.
When you traced it back to what you point out as this perfectionist mentality that you put on yourself, but now you're transferring it to them. This wasn't just a kid saying, "Mom, I don't like you," out of just what kids do. You could trace it back to specific things that you've done.
Yeah, I think being a mom and working, and I went back to school, and I think my own frustrations and my own voices in my head, they kind of snowball and come out in this tone like, I don't have time for you, or just leave me alone. Not that I say those words,
Yeah.
but maybe my subconscious self is saying these things, and my kids catch on to it. And maybe I do something like I take a toy, or I say you can't have something, and then it's, well, I don't like you. So I mean, where does that leave me?
Your husband, as you pointed out, tells you you're doing such an amazing job with the kids, but because you don't feel it, it leaves you feeling like a hypocrite. Like it's when someone gives you a compliment, as you pointed out, and you can't just say thank you. He's
Right.
complimenting you and saying you're doing a great job, and you cannot absorb that love and that support. Why?
I don't know where it stems from. I think I know from a young age, I've always compared myself to other people,
Mm.
what other people have, what other people's abilities are. And it just seems like no matter what I do or what I create, it just in my head, it doesn't feel like it's good enough. And I think that leads to my parenting. I have two beautiful, healthy, funny, vibrant children. And sometimes I can't get out of my own way and just be.
Joining us from Sarasota, Florida, is psychiatrist and parenting expert, somebody I know very well, Dr. Janet Young. Dr. Young, you've been watching this. You see the sadness in Allie's voice, her eyes, her intention. It's not to pass this on. She's not alone. This is not a road that she is traveling by herself.
No, it's absolutely not. And parenting is very difficult, as Allie alluded to. And the fact is, most of us are very well-meaning parents, but how we were parented comes into play. And also the reality is, Tamron, 70% of our thoughts are negative. And so that starts early. That starts earlier than the teen years. And the opportunity as parents is to change that. The opportunity is to understand that and realize that our kids, our young kids, are taking in everything that we say and do, and also what we don't say. So, as parents, what we want to do is be cognizant of that and understand how our own negative thoughts and feelings may interplay what seems to be an innocent conversation. When you are trying to teach your child something, it's always the opportunity to do it in a way that builds them up and does not tear them down.
Dr. Janet, I call you Dr. Young because you look so young. I've known you many, many years. That's what I was thinking. Janet looks so young. She hasn't aged a day. But I mean, is it, what kind of work do you have to put into it? I mean, do you have to really let me think about it before I say something to my child? Like, give that pause before you act, particularly when it's a behavior you're correcting in your child, which they need too.
Yes. Well, you want to do conscious parenting. And that means, one of the easiest ways is just to take some deep breaths, which can help you access your subconscious and help you calm down. I mean, you're normal. We're human. So invariably those interactions that we have with other people may come from how we feel about ourselves, if we've had a bad day or, fighting with our partner or husband, whatever. And so you do not want to project that onto your child. It's hard work. I mean, I have four daughters. I know how kids can push your buttons, but at the same time, as they are developing, and we want them to explore, we want them to make mistakes, but we also want to, again, discipline them, teach them how to, handle a challenge, how to handle a barrier without thinking about it negatively.
Yes.
And I can tell you, as a psychiatrist in active practice, our kids have a lot of anxiety, and our kids are harder on themselves earlier and earlier than we know. And what we know is that kids, even as young as 7, are more concerned with right and wrong than teenagers. So there's always that line that, again, is an opportunity to parent the best that you can, to reflect when maybe you've been too harsh, but to really parent them with kindness and love. And are they going to be hard on themselves? Yes, but maybe not as hard as they will.
Well, I mean, I think as in Ali, as I said, you took a bold first step, admitting this on national TV, recognizing it, and I would love to keep this conversation going in any capacity. This is one of those shows where I've already told my team, texting them, we're following this up because there's so much to learn here. Ali, thank you so much. I just admire
Thank you for having
you
me.
coming on and talking about this. Dr. Janet, thank you, always coming in with the best advice. And yes, you do still look as young as the day I met you.